Welcome back to the show. We are with Jim Tully, Antony Gough and Bruce Ansley. Well, the incumbent mayor, Bob Parker, has commanded a dream run of publicity in the past fortnight, the kind of publicity and photo ops that normally politicians can only dream about. How would you rate his leadership of Christchurch in the wake of the natural disaster, and has this been an unbelievable momentum shift in the wider mayoral campaign?
Well, it might sound cynical, but I think he's done the easy bit. I think fronting up in public, being the face of the city and being there is easy, but I think leading the city around the reconstruction and the kind of issues that Tony raised and so forth, I think that's the hard bit. So I'm with those people who tend to think, well, yes, he's done well, but I guess that's what the job requires, and to some extent, fronting up and being the face is not much of a challenge, really. Cynical, I know, but that's how I see it.
Interesting. I suppose we'd always expect Bob Parker to be a good frontman for Christchurch. How much praise are you prepared to shower on him for his efforts, Antony?
I think he's done an outstanding job. He could have easily taken the back room and said, hey, it's earthquake and war damage and it's all been handled by higher powers and everything else. He didn't at all. He fronted and said, we're here, we're up and running, and he made the calls. He turned up. He never turned down an interview. I think he's done an outstanding job, and good on him for rising to the occasion.
Would a politician fighting for their political life ever turn down an interview? What do you make of it, Bruce?
Well, of course he fronted up. I mean, it's a God-sent opportunity, though. That may seem a bit sacrilegious at the moment, but I don't think Jim has a chance of catching him now, because I think voting papers are being sent out this weekend, is it? Election. Okay, so most people will have them in their letterbox this weekend. The election's on October the 9th. Bob has built up a hefty lead over the last 2 weeks. I haven't heard a word said against him. He's looked good, he's looked calm, he's looked good on TV. Jim hasn't. He made that decision in the middle of the earthquake. I think Bob's him by a country mile.
Interesting. Jim Anderton clearly is wanting to find some degree of relevance now, and this decision a week or so ago to pull the pin on this dual role intention he had, was that inevitable? Did he have to do that?
Yeah, he had to do it, and he did it much too late. He should have been like that from the start, because you're leaving yourself open to the charge of a part-time mayor. Same thing's happening in the far north right now, with Sir John Golder taking on Wayne Brown, saying, well, yes, I'm going to be a full-time mayor. So, it was a dumb decision from the very start.
Yeah. I have noticed that Jim Anderton has used the word inclusive a lot in the last few days, and I'm wondering, as we head into the home straight of the election campaign, even though a lot of people will have their postal voting papers soon, is Jim Anderton going to try and cast himself as the inclusive mayor for the rebuild, as opposed to Bob's more exclusive approach? Is that his best hope?
Well, he has the ground for it. He's already had a crack at that, I suppose, over the decision to appoint Ian Athfield as a commissioner. I think most people would think that was a pretty good decision, but Jim's point was that Bob was autocratic in the way he made it. And so the ground is, he has space available for that sort of charge. Whether or not, though, it's going to cut much ice with people who are still looking at their fallen chimneys and their broken fences, I don't know.
So Mother Nature has won the election?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I'll put money on it.
So do you think it'll be close? Okay. There may be more aftershocks to come politically. We'll have a quick look at David Garrett.
Not a landslide.
Exactly. Well done. David Garrett, he's been given the flick from the ACT Party. Apparently he's going to be on 2 weeks' leave to have a wee think about his political future. Should he hang around in Parliament, Antony?
Definitely not. If he resigns from ACT, he was put in as a list MP for ACT, he has to go. There's no question about it. What on earth is he going to do sitting as an MP, and people who voted for ACT have effectively lumbered with somebody who's now resigned from ACT? What an extraordinary situation.
Quick comment, Bruce?
Well, he's done something pretty bad. He should go anyway, ACT or not. He's, it's unforgivable, really. And it's caused a tremendous amount of hurt, and the man should just get right out of politics. He shouldn't pretend to be any kind of representative of anybody.
Is his credibility shot?
This is the story of Jekyll and Hyde, I think, isn't it? His credibility shot, Hyde's credibility shot. This guy knew about this stuff, allowed him to go forward, gave him law and order portfolio, stood by him, now he's ditched him. It says a lot about Hyde's lack of political judgment, says a lot about the reliance that he had on people like Garrett to stay as leader of ACT. I think ACT's gone, and I think, Hyde will pay the price.
Who do you think leaked the story, Jim?
Oh, yes, they'll be hunting.
Defamation.
Yes. A great headline in the New Zealand Herald this week, by the way, ACT, the party of convictions. Very clever. Thank you very much to our esteemed panel, Jim Tully, Antony Gough, very mildly dressed this week, I'm sure you've noticed, and Bruce Ansley. Have a very nice weekend. Stay safe. Let's hope Mother Nature is on her best behaviour. We'll see you next week. Good night.